Today, let's talk about how to transform your yard from, just a patch of grass into this vibrant, living ecosystem. We're going to cover the best flowers for attracting all those birds and pollinators, and I promise you, it's way easier than you might think.
I mean, just really picture that for a second. That's not some scene from a nature documentary. That could be your own backyard. It's like having your own daily wildlife show, and you get a front row seat. All it really takes is making a few smart choices.
So, where do we even begin? Well, it all starts with the single most important concept, the absolute foundation for everything we're about to talk about: native plants. This right here, this is the secret ingredient. And this is a real mind shift, isn't it? These plants, they aren't just decorations for your garden. They're basically life support. They're providing that specific nectar hummingbirds have evolved to drink, the exact seeds that finches and chickadees need to survive, and, this is a big one, they host the insects that almost all baby songbirds have to eat to grow up. And if you need proof, here it is. One study found that pollinators visit native wildflowers 37% more often than the non-native ones you might find at a big box store. 37%! That is a huge, huge difference. The main takeaway here is, if you want a yard that is just buzzing with life, native plants are completely non-negotiable. So just so we're all on the same page, when we're throwing around this word native, what do we actually mean? We're talking about plants that belong here. They've grown and evolved right alongside the local wildlife for centuries, creating this perfect interlocking system. They are the base of the entire local food web. Period. All right, now we get to the fun part. Let's think of ourselves as restaurant owners for a minute. Who do you want to invite to your backyard diner? Because we can actually design a menu that's tailored to the exact guests we want to see. First up, the little acrobats of the garden, hummingbirds. They are on the hunt for high-octane nectar, and they usually find it in red, tubular flowers. Cardinal flower is an amazing choice, especially if you have a damp spot in your yard. Bee balm is an absolute hummingbird magnet. Seriously, they can't resist it. And bonus, bees and butterflies will thank you too. And then you have trumpet vine. It is gorgeous, but a word of warning. This one grows like crazy. You absolutely have to give it a strong trellis or a fence to climb, or it will try to take over your house. Okay, next up, let's cater to our feathered friends who are more into seeds. Sunflowers, right? A total classic for a reason. One of those giant heads can feed goldfinches for weeks. Coneflowers are probably my personal favorite. They bloom all summer long, and then those seed heads become a critical food source deep into the winter. And you've got to love black-eyed Susans. They're like the gift that keeps on giving, often reseeding themselves for the next year. And of course, we cannot forget the pollinators. The bees, the butterflies, they're the ones who make this whole show possible. If you want to help monarch butterflies, milkweed is non-negotiable. It's the only plant their caterpillars can eat. Lavender is just an all-around winner for all kinds of bees. And then there's butterfly bush. Now this one is actually non-native, but butterflies really do love it. The pro tip here is to make sure you pair it with lots of native plants, so you're supporting the whole local ecosystem, not just one part of it. Okay, here's a really common mistake I see people make. They plant a garden that looks fantastic in July, but that's it. If you want to create a true habitat, you have to think about providing food across the seasons. You're basically creating a year-round buffet.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. In the early spring, things like crocuses and Virginia bluebells are that first crucial sip of nectar for bees just waking up. Then summer, of course, that's peak season. You've got everything from bee balm to sunflowers going strong. But don't forget the fall. Goldenrod and asters are vital late-season fuel stops for migrating monarchs and birds that are getting ready for winter. This is so, so important. In the fall, please fight the urge to clean up your garden. Those dried up coneflower stalks and seed heads, that's a natural bird feeder that'll last all winter. And those hollow stems are perfect little shelters for native bees. A little bit of mess is actually a sign of a healthy, living garden. Okay, so we've picked out some plants. But a really great habitat is so much more than just a random collection of flowers. It's about building a complete environment, a whole little world. I want you to think in layers, just like you'd see in a natural forest. You want ground cover, like wild strawberry, for insects to hide in. Then you've got your perennials, like the coneflowers, as the main food source. On top of that, you add shrubs, like elderberry, for berries and for nesting spots. And then finally, maybe a small tree like a dogwood to create that vertical diversity. This layering creates all these different homes for all kinds of wildlife. So here's a quick little checklist to really complete your habitat. Birds need perches to sit on and watch for predators.
Everything needs a clean water source. Even a simple bird bath works wonders. A little brush pile in a corner offers incredible shelter. And here's the golden rule. Always, always skip the pesticides. They just kill the very insects that your baby birds need to eat to survive. And hey, if you're listening to this thinking, this all sounds great, but I only have a tiny balcony, don't worry. You can absolutely apply these same principles, just on a smaller scale. Instead of garden beds, you use stacked pots. Instead of trees, you use trellises for vines. Every single little patch of habitat you create helps, especially in our cities and suburbs. I know this can feel like a whole lot of information at once, but you really don't have to do it all tomorrow. The whole goal here is to just start small and then build on it from there. So what's the magic number to get started? Just 3 to 5. That's it. Pick 3 to 5 native plants that you like, that fit your space and your goals. It is a completely manageable first step that is going to have a huge, immediate impact. So, to just wrap up the absolute essentials, mix some flowers for nectar with some plants for seeds. Add a source for water and a little shelter. Prep your soil with some compost, and make sure you water those new plants really well for their first year. Oh, and remember, leave it a little messy in the winter. If you do those things, the wildlife will find you. I promise. Your backyard, no matter how big or small, has so much potential to become this incredible, living, dynamic space that actually supports the ecosystem around you. So really, the only question left is, are you ready to start your own wildlife show?